Hello, Jamie. I'm in with
Hello.
Jamie. And where do you live, Jamie?
I live in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
All right. And how long you been with me?
A little over a month,
Okay, you
like
just
six
started.
weeks, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, about six
Uh,
weeks. Okay, wonderful. And you were attracted to what we're doing by uh, some of your friends that I'm working with.
yes.
Okay, we'll just leave it like that. We won't get too personal. But I wanted to just get some ideas, share it with the public. Uh, what you are coming to and what you are learning and what this work is doing for you. Again, this is the Spinoza Gurdjieff study group. We have students from all over the country and different parts of the world. And you found you're now interested in Spinoza and Gurdjieff.
Yes.
And and this is what the work is about: how to understand Gurdjieff, and he talks about the idea of being asleep, and how to awaken. What is to be awakened is the mind. And there are two parts of the mind. This is where Spinoza communicates the idea that the mind is in certain cases active and in certain cases passive. Well, that means that the mind, when it's active, it thinks clearly. When it is passive, it it's an automatic. It's an automatic. We are automatons. We're not really thinking. We're in the past. You described. We're just talking about an experience you had with going to the market, which is close by. Would you go over that again with me? I thought it was so interesting.
Sure. Well, I have a little convenience store that's less than a mile from my house, and it's very convenient for me to stop in there and grab a couple things and get out real fast. I usually stop when I'm on my way to work, or I don't go in there to do major shopping. I'm in there to go in and get out. Well, there's a very friendly clerk that works there, and she for some reason just loves to talk to me. And even though I'm in a hurry, I'll go in and she just will talk and talk and talk. And she's a very nice person. So, but I could feel myself getting angry about it because I'm trying to be nice to her, but she won't stop talking and I really need to go. So, I will, I would stay and listen. I would creep towards the door. And at one point, I would have one foot out the door and she's still talking to me. And so I would leave and I would be so frustrated. I'm just like, why can't she get the hint that I'm trying to leave here and I'm in a hurry? And so I would consider, if she was working, to go down the road a couple miles out of my way just to avoid her. And it's not like she's a mean person, but she is draining of my time, and I want to go in, I want to go out and go about my day, but yet I will stand there and listen to her talk and talk and talk. And so I realized that that's my own fault. I mean, that's
Yes. And what I
I
and what I want to bring out is the importance of, and you're not alone. Many of us
yeah,
do this. I used to have the problem also. And what this
yeah,
work has given me, the work of Spinoza and Gurdjieff, is to help develop a sense of self.
yes,
And this sense of self is not, it's not being mean or rude, but uh, the idea with the application of reason and intuition, we seek really what is best for us. And we, in a sense, we endeavor to understand our emotions. That's the beginning of this work. And for the rest of our lives, to look at our emotions and how they are triggered. And
yeah.
so this, what emotion do you feel that you were in touch with when you, at first, you may have felt fear that the clerk is going to take a lot of your time,
Right, yeah,
okay? And you may have felt pain, and pain that you can leave,
yeah.
that
I
you feel,
felt
yeah, go
trapped,
ahead.
so I felt pain of feeling like I was being trapped there and
Yeah,
having to talk to her. So I was felt powerless in
yes,
that situation, which made me angry. and I just hated it. I just
Yes,
hated,
it's, it's
that I achieved it.
excellent. And
So
this is what I
yeah,
want to get into, Jamie, and for others to see this, is that uh, life offers us opportunities to learn how to see ourselves. And we want to learn to see ourselves without judgment
right.
and to begin to see really what's going on, because the emotions are basically are the steps to come to what the term people call self-realization. But we're losing it, the idea of not only self-realization, but to become a conscious, awake state and to learn how to feed our true intelligence. Our intelligence loves to see what is going on.
Yeah.
So what I suggest that we do, and you're doing it, is to journal. Journal your
Yes.
experience. So you had this event, and what you would write down, your desire was to go in and pick up some groceries or some things that you need and go in and go out because you're in a hurry. But now you
Yes.
got stopped. And we'll call this woman, this clerk, Susan. Now, Susan loves to talk, and she sees you and she knows that you'll listen. And she's captive. And so you perceive her as keeping you from your desire is to go in and out. So when your desires are not met, when our desires are not met, we instantly go into pain.
Yeah.
And then from pain, we go into hate. And from hate, we go into anger. So the idea is look at these emotions and what are they? How do they, since there are in us, we must understand them. And so it's in the understanding of these emotions, the mind is stimulated to understand them. We want to understand them. And you can see that as you begin to acknowledge your anger, acknowledge your hate, and acknowledge your pain. And so that we want to know the definitions of of these emotions. And this is why to study them through the book called Spinoza's Ethics. This is the book, and some of you have this book.
Yes.
Some of my other students will be, I'll suggest looking at the video and everyone has this book. If you desire to work with me, to study with me, the book is necessary. Also, the book of In Search of the Miraculous by Ouspensky, and then my teacher's book. Show me the teacher's book. So you'll have that also.
Yes.
And one of the chapter 42 we're going to look at for a moment, he says one of the basic keys for to inner freedom is explained by Spinoza in this way. When we are able to come to a clear idea of any passion, anger, fear, greed, ambition, and so on, the passion ceases. Okay, that's one aspect. Another part of this essay, writing what you observe is a highly successful aid in self-observation because this activates the mind. So the idea of what does it mean to activate the mind? It means to stimulate the mind to think, to review, to see clearly. Otherwise, you become a victim of your emotions and your desires. Because again, when you're a victim, you're in the anger and you're in the hate, and it may stay with you for hours or for days. And so there's no power in the self. Angry is a desire to remove the pain. What is the pain? Is that you cannot really freely communicate what you feel or do
No.
what you want. So there's anger is a desire to remove the pain. What is the definition of anger? Anger is desire, whereby through hatred we are induced to remove or destroy the object of our hate. But you don't want to hurt Susan, but you just want to get out of there. And
Yeah.
hate is just to say, I have pain, and you believe Susan is the cause of your pain. Okay,
Right.
what is pain? Pain is a feeling of you are saying what? What is the feeling of pain?
It's to go from a greater to a lesser perfection.
And that's right. But what does that mean? What are the feelings?
Um, I mean, I feel hate and I feel anger
Okay.
and
But the pain,
sadness and
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, you feel sadness, but the painful feelings are, and you said earlier, you felt
Emotion.
helpless,
Right. Yeah. Powerless. Yeah.
powerless,
Yeah.
helpless, and not knowing what to do.
Exactly.
So you don't know what to do at this moment. So that's where we go into hate and anger. We want to solve our problem, but hate does not solve the problem. We just say that person is the cause of my pain. Anger is desire to get rid of the pain. But if we go back to pain, and what is the pain? As you said, less perfection. What does that mean? I'm not able to deal with the reality of the problem right now. I'm
Yeah.
lost. I don't know what to say. I'm afraid to say the truth. I'm afraid to hurt Susan, and I'm afraid of being rude. So I shut up and I bite the bullet, so to speak, and endure
Yeah.
Susan's constant talking. So as you begin to journal, as my teacher was saying, uh, writing what you observe, journaling what you observe, activates the mind. So when the mind is clearly looking and seeing, that's an activity of the mind. You want to begin to feel and see that activity in the mind. The mind at that level wants to understand. And it's in the understanding you become free.
Right.
And so you've been with me for, say, 6 weeks. How is this? What is this work doing for you?
It's really helping me observe myself, and I'm able to have more of an active um mind instead of a passive mind. I in the past have been really prone to be very emotional, and when I'm emotional, I'm very confused. I I can't think clearly. I'm able to really break down when I'm feeling pain, hate, and anger. I'm able to write about it and really figure out what the real issue is. I mean, where the pain's coming from and why. And I've never been able to do that in the past. It was almost like a snowball. I would just get more and more angry, or I'd feel more and more pain instead of being able to observe myself in that moment and with a clear mind. And so it really helps me um, be more active in my thinking. So,
Excellent. And you'll begin to understand in Spinoza's ethics, part three of the ethics, proposition one. Spinoza talks about in certain cases, the mind is active, and in
mhm,
certain cases, the mind is passive. An active mind is a mind that has adequate and clear ideas. The passive mind is a mind that is confused. It lives in the memory, it lives in the past.
yep,
And so as you begin to study yourself and identify the desire to understand, this is the part of the mind that is becoming stronger.
right,
And those ideas will begin to say, take over the other part of the mind that uses, say, the mind has tools. The tools of the mind is how to solve problems or respond to situations. And you're
right,
confronted with situations, events that stimulate us or affect us. So we want to study our emotions. An emotion basically is the mind's awareness of the body being affected. And so an emotion indicates the body is either uh, increased in its power or decreased in its power. So
yep,
if you get a promotion, oh, and a job, you feel an increase of power. Your mind and
right,
your body feels an increase. If you are suddenly lost your job or you have your hours are decreased, your income is decreased, and therefore you feel a decrease of power mentally and emotionally. So the more you begin to understand how your emotions work when they are stimulated or triggered, as you're beginning to realize that we are triggered by events.
yep,
And so these meetings are giving you more power. And
definitely.
this is from from your understanding. Spinoza talks about there are three levels of knowledge. The lowest level is hearsay and experience, and that all that is stored in our memory. Since infancy, we learn from our environment how to live and how to exist. And so you learn that what's important is to your family is important. You want to do everything for your family, and you're a mother. You have children, and you've been married. And the idea is your whole family was so important. So your whole life was to give, to give, to give, but you never learned how to see and give to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is what you're doing to do is learn how to give clear to yourself the love that you desperately need. You've been a mother and a sister, a girlfriend and a wife. So your whole life was to give and hopefully receive back. But you found that all of us found that you don't get back what you really put out,
Right.
not as much, and it's not permanent. The love that you're going to come to is a love of self, the love of your understanding, and that is everlasting, because this love can be connected with your higher nature, your true intelligence, and this is the true spirit of the mind. The soul is the mind. And when your mind is clear, your soul is full, is filled with self-love and through self-understanding. And then you're connected with yourself and you're connected with nature or Spinoza's God. So
Yes.
we're going to end this now. And I want you to hang on for a moment. I'm going to see if I
Okay.
can stop the video, and uh, stay with me. Pause, stop recording. Okay. And also, I think we did very good. Hopefully, I can save this. And because I haven't used Zoom for this, I used Skype. And I hope I
Okay.
will download it. Hold on for a moment. And we got this recording going on. I think that we did good. And what you talked about earlier about your experience at the house that you visited, that you stayed overnight for one night or 2 nights.
Just one night. Yeah. I was
Uh,
just passing through and it was kind of a little over halfway for me. So I didn't have
yeah,
long.
excellent.
Yeah.
And you were able to sleep once you were able to say be aware of what was going on.
Yeah. It was, before I would just feel the emotion and not really think about it. I would just, like this place makes me feel, anxiety or whatever. But this time I was able to recognize that it was all I was living in the past. Like my memories were actually like taking over in that moment.
Yes. Are you still there? All right. So you just stopped. Okay, we got disconnected. We got end. Uh, very good.